2020. I'm Philip Bourdon. I'll be your facilitator. Chloe Wyzorek is our musician, and Maryann Hackworth will be our speaker. And Chloe's going to start off with a song that's really important in these days and ages. Peace is flowing like a river.
Flowing like a river, flowing out to you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. Joy is flowing like a
Unity is a movement that is focused very much on what we call a Christ consciousness, that divinity is in us, that we don't believe God is a part, but God is expressed through us and as us. And it's so critical because then with our mind, our way of thinking, we shape our lives. And ultimately, too, we move to express spirit through what is called in the New Testament the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, and self-control. We believe we have all those resources in us, and we're committed that we'd be a positive and practical application of faith. And our vision and mission is that we envision a spiritually awakened world flowing with divine love. And we're an inclusive, loving community dedicated to teach, inspire, and practice positive spiritual living. In spirit, we then claim these things and surrender to you in these moments, but also just claim that we have always had this power, and we want to express it in our attention this morning and our intention throughout this time and then throughout this day. And we trust that Spirit will be expressed in us and as us. And another great song, "The More I Seek You," by Chloe.
It's more than I can stand. I melt in your peace. It's overwhelming. The more I seek you, the more I find you. The more I find you, the more I love you. I wanna sit at your feet, drink the cup in your hands, lay back against you and breathe, feel your heartbeat. This love is so deep, it's more than I can stand. I melt in your peace, it's overwhelming.
Thank you, Chloe. You know, over the years, I've been a part of churches that have statements of faith, and their declarations, theological statements, almost all have to do with God is this, God is that. I love our principles because they start with God, but they move to this is God, but this is us. And then they move toward we are that expression of God. So listen to these carefully and realize that we can apply these and claim these in our lives that can turn our days around or our moods and spirits around. God is the source and creator of all. There is no other enduring power. God is good and present everywhere. We're spiritual beings created in God's image. The Spirit of God lives within each person. Therefore, all people are inherently good. And we create our life experiences through our way of thinking. Through prayer and meditation, we increase our conscious contact with God, bringing forth love, wisdom, health, prosperity, and everything good. But knowledge of these spiritual principles is not enough. We must live them. And of course, I've done things in reverse, haven't I? I got to light the Christ candle. But that's all right, because it's still an expression of the same thing. I just got too anxious to recite those principles. After all, we've lit a Christ candle for, I don't know, maybe a few thousand times in a row. I didn't want to start a new trend. Our affirmation is, shall say 3 times, my every thought is in harmony with divine love. My every thought is in harmony with divine love. My every thought is in harmony with divine love. And here's a song, believe it or not, that I first learned in 1972. So I'm dating myself. Chloe, I don't think you were with us at that time. Stayed on Spirit.
I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed in the morning with your mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
I got to admit, Chloe, back in my ancient history, nobody sang it quite like that. Thank you very much. Our daily word reading is entitled Remember. I bless the people whose lives have touched mine. Grandparents, parents, siblings, members of my extended family, teachers, friends, co-workers. Every person I've known has, by his or her example, helped me feel more deeply what it means to be human. Some have encouraged my curiosity. Some have taught me life skills. Some have modeled positive attitudes and behaviors. Some have loved me fully and unselfishly. And some have helped me learn to love even when loving felt difficult. Today, I remember the people whose lives have touched mine. I pause to think kindly of each one as I savor memories of time we spent together. Whether we're still in one another's lives, have lost touch, or are separated by death, I know the experiences we have shared continue to enrich our lives and deeply bless us on our spiritual journey. And from Paul's letter to the Romans 1st chapter, verse 9 in the New Testament, I remember you always in my prayers. And we bless the children in our lives. You know, this is a time of year when children, whether it's Thanksgiving or toward the holiday season, they come to the forefront increasingly. And we offer blessings upon those that we know that are in our families, but those that come to our minds, those who suffer, who are struggling. And we hope and pray that we can give practical ways of helping them. Right now, we send our energy to them. And this is our time to greet one another online, phone or a laptop, whatever. Take a moment to say hello. Even though we're apart, it's amazing in this day and age. Just think, if this had happened 30, 40 years ago, what churches and other groups could have done. They could have done nothing. So we're grateful for the science and the wisdom and knowledge that has enabled us to do this. In a moment, Chloe's going to be giving a song called The Rhythm Changes by Kamasi Washington, and she seemed to be excited about it beforehand. And we got to be careful when she gets excited about a song. All right. Chloe, The Rhythm Changes.
Yeah, so I picked this song. I thought it was timely, but over the summer when I injured my shoulder, and this song found me in a sense, and it gave me kind of the strength in a sense to keep going, and to know that you always have support. Our minds, our bodies, our feelings, they change, they alter, they leave us somehow, no matter what happens. I'm here. The time, the season, the weather, the song, the music, the rhythm. It seems no matter what happens, I'm here. Daylight seems bright because of night. It's shade we need, so we can see our love, our beauty, our genius, our work, our triumph, our glory. Won't worry what happens before me. I'm here. Daylight seems bright because of night. It's shade we need, so we can see our love, our beauty, our genius, our work, our triumph, our glory. Won't worry what happens before me. I'm here. Our love, our beauty, our genius, our worth, our triumph, our glory. Won't worry what happens before me. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
Wow. I won't mind if down the road, a few months from now, you repeat that again. That was something. Thank you so much. That's sincere. That really is sincere. This is our opportunity to pray, and we're certainly, I believe, as a nation, in need of that. And so, let's prepare our hearts right now and go through that song, When I Pray. Feel free to write down online prayer concerns.
When I pray, I feel my heart grow deeper, my heart grow deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray.
And Spirit, help us to remember every thought, Every feeling is a prayer. Whether we're walking, driving, sitting, the energy that we generate, the thoughts and feelings that come to us are prayers. Help us take responsibility to realize that power and to use it for good.
When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God.
Be so bold as to focus on the next 48, 72, 96 hours it might be. As we know, something big is happening in our country, and I want us to focus on peace, that peace would rule, that peace would reign during this time. So let's take a few moments just to take peace in our own hearts, take deep breaths, relax our bodies. Relax our bodies. And just see us as people, nation, giving up control and surrendering to Spirit. Even in your own hearts, give up intention, what you want, and focus on peace. For yourself and for others, as many as you want, see spiritual hands touching shoulders and heads, bringing peace throughout bodies and minds and spirit. See that power. And realize there's others throughout this country and world that are praying the same way. See all of us sharing that energy and just somehow being one together as we pray in this way. And then take some deep breaths now. You breathe in spirit, and you breathe out faith. So we surrender to you, Spirit, and trust. And so it is. I'm going to do something quite different, because announcements are happening now, because from what I understand, this is the time when we have the most people online. So I've got to take advantage of that. Sherry, our office manager, sent out a long letter. It's critical that you read it. Next week, we'll be meeting here. You're invited to come in. We're going to be extremely scrupulous. Where is it? You better wear one of these coming in. Everyone will have it coming in. Speakers and musicians won't when they're performing, but as soon as they're done, they're going to have them on. We'll have all sorts of ways to keep hands clean, and we'll have space. So read that. But this is exciting. We're moving ahead in faith in this way. But there's also, let me read this because this is critical. Maryann Hackworth will be speaking. I'm just going to read it as is in the letter. I'm so delighted to be writing this. Maryann is in the process of becoming a credentialed Unity minister and has applied for the position of minister with the Unity Center of Pittsburgh. The Minister Search Committee and the Board of Directors have each held interviews with Maryann and are ready to move forward. So now we need your feedback. So Maryann will be giving the message next Sunday, November 8th. And after the service, we'll have a combined Zoom and in-person meeting to review the process. So even if you're not here, you can be a part of that. Where things are, most importantly, offer you an opportunity to chat with Maryann about her calling. If you'd like to participate in the Zoom meeting, please reply to this email and provide your name and email address. And Sherry will send out a special invitation, which will have the link to the after-service session, so you won't have to try to write it down from the announcement slides. At any rate, once the board has had an opportunity to review your feedback, they'll conduct a vote. Hear that? Your feedback, and then conduct a vote. So it's up to you. If Spirit so moves forward, we'll move forward with Maryann in support of Unity. And I took a picture of this, and I can't remember what's exactly, but we're going to have the support of Unity nationally in this. So this is so important, either to be here or to be here afterwards. So I just want to take a few deep breaths after that. I'll give a quick, a very, very quick repetition after the service, but Maryann's message is called The Power of the Word. Wow. Maryann Hackworth, thank you so much.
Good morning to everyone. It is great to be here with you, and thanks, Philip. I didn't know the announcements were going to be so early, but it's my honor to serve Unity Center of Pittsburgh, and I'd be delighted if you tune in next week for either the Zoom meeting or just to come into the sanctuary if you're feeling comfortable with that, or you can certainly watch from home and be a participant. So here we are. This morning we are talking about the power of the Word, which I chose this topic, and I would like to give you a wee bit of background. Most of you do know me. Some of you don't know me that well to realize what my background is. I am a speech-language pathologist, otherwise known as a speech therapist. And so I graduated from graduate school back in 1983. And you can imagine how important I think words are with my professional role, right? I walked out of graduate school, and my very first job, which I did in various settings of skilled nursing homes for about 15 years. The first 15 years of my career were in skilled nursing care as a speech therapist. And you can imagine what I envisioned for my patients. I would meet patients who had had strokes or Parkinson's or neurological impairments that would affect their communication. And going into the rooms of those individuals and watching their struggle as they tried to formulate their concepts or ideas into words, whether they had aphasia, which is word-finding difficulties, or even worse sometimes is something called apraxia, where you actually have a concept in your mind, you have a language piece in your head for a word, but the mouth has lost its ability to formulate sound. So I devoted and still devote my career to being a speech therapist, to assisting people with communication. And this was started way before I encountered Unity and discovered a whole new way of understanding the power of word. For now, I understand that not only is it important that we have the language and words to say, to convey our ideas, but now I understand through new thought that our words are actually a reflection of the consciousness that is behind them. Our words are a means by which we move forth into creating our world by our consciousness, and we formulate and express the desires that we have inside of our heart and our mind into word. So we look at this from that new thought perspective. And I'd like to share with you Paul Hasselbeck's quote. Like ambassadors who have a mandate to carry the power and authority of their governments, words carry the power and authority of their originating consciousness. And I ask myself sometimes, what consciousness is now speaking these words? My words. Am I speaking from the consciousness of my inspired divine mind? Am I allowing the inspired thought of God to flow through my words? Or is it my personality that is engaged in fear or worry or anxiety? Is that what is speaking words? Where am I coming from? You may want to ask yourself those questions as well. I know a couple of years ago, I was at a dollar store, and I saw this stick-on wallpaper. Have you ever seen these little strips that you can take and you just peel the back off and you push it up, put it on a wall? You can move it, you can take it off, move it into another space. That's why I like them. And it was $1, right, at the dollar store. But it just jumped at me because it was written by Emily Dickinson. And Emily Dickinson, as you know, was a wordsmith. She was a poet. And she lived in the 1830, I think, to 1885 or 89. She was 55 when she made her transition. But she wrote over 1,800 poems. And this quote jumped right out. It said this: "Dwell in possibilities. Dwell in possibilities." And if you look at that phrase and you take the words and you feel the vibrational energy of that, I think you can know why I had to have it. Because when I consider dwelling in possibilities, I consider that we are immersing ourselves, our awareness, with the divine creative mind of God, and we're dwelling in infinite potential. So this is what comes up for me, and I'd like to ask you to think of what comes up for you when you dwell in possibilities. There's feeling for me in that of certainty, a feeling for me of a knowingness, of a grounded feeling that there is this presence and this power that exists in the universe that has brought me forward, that has brought you, every single other human being, and all the life that surrounds us. I dwell in the possibility that there is goodness and there's wholeness and there's health. I dwell in the possibility that there is prosperity and abundance. I witness and see evidence of it in nature. I see it in my relationships. I dwell in the possibility that my relationships with my family and friends are based on love and honesty. I dwell in the possibility that compassion continues to flow into our consciousness. And so that we can look at one another, we can offer prayer, we can offer consolement and comfort. I dwell in the possibility of our greatness, that we are put here in this earth plane to exhibit greatness. And that means creating from the knowingness of our divine nature. So this quote from Emily Dickinson just resonates so deeply in my heart. Dwell in possibilities. So I take that quotation, that piece of wallpaper, and I stick it right up there on my bathroom wall. As I exit my bathroom, in and out, every single day, I look at those beautiful letters, and I dwell in the possibilities. As Chloe was singing early in the day, which I love your music today, Chloe, it's so beautiful. She was saying, I'm walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. That's dwelling in possibilities. Walking and talking. Think about that. Jesus, when he walked on the earth, his language was Aramaic, which is now considered a dead language. It is not practiced and spoken. So we have to study and know that he placed value and importance on the words that he spoke. At the time of his existence, the Aramaic language had 7,000 words in it. Only 7,000. So there was emphasis and importance for people to use the words correctly and to use inflection with them and to use them in context with what they were trying to convey. So in contrast to the quotation from Emily Dickinson, I wanted to offer another one to you that came up just like 2-3 weeks ago. Preparing for this message, of course, I was driving along the road, and I know that currently we have a lot of campaign signs that are out. Nothing wrong with that. That's expected. There's a big election coming up in a couple of days. So this campaign slogan was on a sign stuck in someone's yard. And I'm driving past, and I looked over, and I'll tell you this slogan only once, and I won't say it twice. It said, "Stop the bullshit." And I was driving, and I almost wrecked, practically, not exactly, but I was jarred so much that my head jerked over, and I said, "What? Did I just read that on a printed sign that looks to me that it's official? It's some sort of a campaign slogan." A slogan to me is something that we create from our thoughts, from the consciousness that exists behind the words. We create words, we create a slogan that represents to us that which we desire, such as dwell in possibilities. And I was wondering to myself, What might be the consciousness of that individual that created that slogan? So the first thing that came up for me, of course, was kind of shock, because I was jarred by it, because back in my day, that was a swear word. And we really weren't supposed to say swear words, because you might go to H-E double toothpicks. You see, when I was a child, we weren't even allowed to say H-E double toothpicks out loud, but we could get away with it by adding the toothpicks. So I'm looking at that sign, and I thought, well, here we are now. We're creating slogans. And this slogan to me conveyed accusatory energy. It conveyed criticism. It conveyed a sense of judgment. And I thought, what is the primary feeling I get when I look at that? And it was anger, fear as well, but primarily a resistance or an anger to whatever, because that was my other thought, is like, what are you talking about? What is the BS or belief system that you're referencing in this slogan? I don't even know. And so I ask us right now, can we create new slogans? Because we have the power, we can speak, we have words that we can create that convey what we do desire as opposed to what we do not desire. You see, that is what unity is all about. That is new thought. New thought is coming up with a new thought. So we don't have to stay locked in old thinking and old techniques or old practices, let's say, of pointing fingers and blaming and doubting and being judgmental. We can create the new earth by the words that we use right now. There is a teaching from the Master Jesus, and I wanted to share it with you. He, as you know, he taught by storytelling, and that was very common in the day. It was all oral. People were teaching through oral storytelling. It was called a parable. And this is the parable of the tree and its fruit. And it is recorded in the book of Matthew. The author of Matthew wrote this according to what Jesus taught. It said, "For your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned." This is Jesus speaking. "I tell you, on the day of judgment, you will have to give an account for every careless word you utter." Now, the story of the parable of the tree starts out, either make the tree good and its fruit is good, or make the tree bad and its fruit bad, for the tree is known by its fruit. So let's look at the tree and let's look at the fruit. The tree is consciousness. The tree is the thought or the process or the belief system or the feeling of your consciousness, your awareness. That is the tree that is you. That is the tree that is all of us. The tree produces fruit. And fruit is the manifestation on the physical realm. So when Jesus said, "On the day of judgment, you will have to give an account for every careless word that you utter, for by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned." The challenging part to me is that when I heard those words years ago in my traditional upbringing, my religious upbringing, it referenced the judgment day. And of course, that's way off in the distance. That's not going to happen until I die. And when I die, I get up there to heaven, and there will be, I guess, St. Peter or someone will have a record of all the words that I said. And if I said all the good ones, I will get into heaven. And if I didn't, then I'm going to have to wait outside for a while and do a little penance. New Thought understands Jesus' teachings in an entirely different way because Jesus stated to us, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. The kingdom of heaven does not come in some distant future time as a sign or as a place to enter later. It is in this moment now that we create. And so the words that we utter, the fruit will happen now. You see what I'm saying? The words that we say now and the consciousness that we hold now are the creative process. Charles and Myrtle Fillmore totally got it. They understood these teachings that Jesus had, and they decided, Myrtle especially, to heal her body. As you know, she had tuberculosis, and she said she removed all petulant speech. She affirmed wholeness in her body. She let go, denied, let go of all those false thoughts that she had. And Charles put it forth in this way. Ignorant words cast a shadow over one's path, and one cannot see the way. They dull a person's ears until he or she cannot hear the counsel and guidance of spirit. Ignorant words cast a shadow on us. And I'm bringing this message forth today because I notice, and maybe you do, that there is a lot of words out there that are based on ignorance. The consciousness is creating them that doesn't know any better. It doesn't realize that the future unfoldment relies on the present use of words. And so what we're asked to do now is to align our mind and our thought process and start using affirmative language. Start to envision and dwell in possibility for what our future will be and unfold it. We are in control of our own words. As we say at Unity, God is the source and creator of all. There is no other enduring power. Those are words that I draw upon. I was asked in my metaphysics class, as well as the other students, to come up with a denial and an affirmation that worked. And what they said was, notice in your experience a thought that is troubling you, that arises. And when that comes back again and again, if it does on a daily basis or weekly or whatever it may be, hourly even, notice what's arising and create a denial statement so that you can release the power that that thought has over you. Notice that a denial does not negate a situation from its existence. What it negates is the power that that situation has over me. I can release it. I'm in control of my power now. That negative thought that I just had doesn't have power over me. So my very first attempt at figuring out which one I was going to choose, I could create quite a few, but the first one that came up for me is about the computer, because I'm learning how to use the computer in a bigger and better way. And for a long time, I have resisted, and I have been frustrated, and I have considered the computer to be my enemy. And it's really nonsense, right? Because I've given that power to learning the computer over, and I have ill-equipped myself to learn how to use it because I've resisted it. So I created a denial. I released the false belief that learning computer skills is hard. I release it. And I follow, because as Emily Cady, New Thought teacher Emily says, just a denial is like you're brushing away a cobweb from your mind. This is false. So we know about cobwebs, right? First of all, you don't need a sledgehammer to get rid of it. And secondly, they come back again. And so you just gently brush it away every time that I'm going to use the computer, and I'm learning PowerPoint now through the office manager, Sherry Owen. Thank you so much. And I realize that sometimes I get frustrated and I start to resist learning it, and I brush that cobweb away. And I say, I release the false belief that learning computer skills is hard. And then immediately my affirmations are these: I am capable of learning new things. I am a competent and capable learner. I am unlimited in my capacity to understand new stuff. And I have all the energy I need to do creative thinking. Create your own affirmation. Maybe there's something in your life that keeps popping up. Words that creep in, right? Words that have energy, such as disgusted. People say, I am so disgusted. I am so disgusted with the way things are going on right now. Think of that. What are you saying when you say, I am disgust? We know energetically how that feels. Compare that feeling to a word such as harmony or a word such as balance. My life is so hectic. I am so stressed. My life is in balance. I affirm balance. I affirm peace, as Philip was talking about through our meditation. Feel the energy of the words that you're using. Make a choice. I was thinking about the word scarcity. Ooh. I mean, right off the bat, doesn't that just make you go, I want to recoil from that word, scarcity. I want to embrace prosperity. I am prosperity. I love prosperity. I draw it forward now into the Unity Center of Pittsburgh and in through me coming outward. I am prospered. So when I saw this political sign, I have to admit that I initially had these very negative feelings come up, and resistance stepped in. And so again for my class, I decided to write a second denial, and I offer it to you to see if it resonates. This is my denial. The outcome of this presidential election has no power to disrupt my peace of mind. No power to disrupt my peace of mind. That feels good. I know that God is the source and creator of all, and there is no other enduring power. I'm filled with faith and certainty. I understand the truth of our divine nature. I know we're all spiritual beings having a human experience, and I am a joyful expression of that God energy, and I am bringing my energy into the world through my love, through my light. And my final grand finale was, I am happy. I am happy. Try that on for size. See what those words feel like to you. Or would you prefer to remain in the negativity? It's a choice. We have a choice of what we're creating in our future. There's this little book I wanted to tell you about. Many of you have already read it. It's a very simply written, beautiful book called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And just a little background, I think the first publication was like in the 50s. It's not a unity book, but it certainly could be. And Don Miguel Ruiz was born into rural Mexico, and his mother was a healer, and his grandfather was a shaman. I don't know how you, shaman. So he was expected to follow in their footsteps, and he didn't want to follow in their footsteps. He decided he was going to go to medical school so he could become a surgeon. So off he went. He was on that path, and one night he was driving in his car, and he fell asleep at the wheel, and he crashed headlong into a cement wall. And he had a near-death experience. And after that near-death experience, he realized his true journey was to become a spiritual teacher. And out of that experience, as we sometimes have not that dramatic experience, but we have a shift in our consciousness, which is what happened in his near-death experience. He came forth with spiritual insight. And he wrote this little simple book called The Four Agreements that we basically all have for our wisdom to evolve and grow spiritually. There are 4 agreements that we should make and agree to. And guess what the first one is? Be impeccable with your word. Very simple. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. That's it. That's the power of the word. So how does integrity feel? Can we affirm a restoration? I was thinking in my mind, if I was a slogan writer, no one has asked me to write slogans for elections or otherwise, but I write them for myself in my affirmation, so I think I could probably do it. If you were going to write your slogan, what might it be? How about this restored integrity flows through the United States of America? Harmony exists between brothers and sisters. Communities reflect peace and compassion. I envision for America a collaborative discussion. I envision that. It is within our possibilities. Let me tell you, do you know what Abraham Lincoln said? Now think about when he was alive, what was going on in the country. He said, I am a firm believer in the people. I am a firm believer in the people. That resonates with me. If given the truth, they can be depended upon to meet any national crisis. The great point is to bring them the real facts. That's Abraham Lincoln's words. He was a believer in the people. And if we hear truth, we will respond to truth. We must speak words of truth, and collaboration is a word of truth. It exists already for us in the divine mind of this spiritual creator we call God. Collaboration, cooperation, harmony, all already exists in the ethers, right? In the ether, the invisible stuff from which we draw upon through our consciousness and express outwardly in our words. If we continue to use words of BS and belief systems that are old paradigms, we will create the same. But we know better. We know more now. Winston Churchill, think of the time that he lived, right? World War II, raging. He said this, courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. That's collaboration. That's what happens when leadership communicates with one another and brings facts to the table and says, how can we resolve this? I see that. I am a firm believer in the intelligent authenticity of humankind. I know that it exists within my heart, and I know that it exists within your heart. So I end this message today just affirming to you, I'll finish with these words. Jeremiah was a prophet in the Old Testament. I'll quote his words and then a contemporary interpretation of Jeremiah. Thy words were found, and I did eat them, and thy words were unto me a joy and the rejoicing of my heart. Jeremiah 15. When your words came into my consciousness, dear God, I ate them. I spoke them. And they were to me joy, and in my heart's delight, I know them. For I am you, divine creator. I am your expression. And I am willing here and now to speak words of joy and truth. And so it is. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you next time.
Maryann, thank you so much. No coincidence that I've been struggling with things I felt I wanted to say in regard to the next few days, and sometimes there was a sharp edge, and now I realize words. Sometimes you got a little sandpaper and change it and put a new finish on it so that we can have a sense of the presence of God. Namely, what spirit are we expressing? So important for us to remember. An important practice for us is our prosperity practice and our giving. Even, was it last night or this morning? I can't remember, but I gave online, and it felt good to do so. And some people sent in checks, whatever it might be, but it's an important practice because then we're claiming prosperity. And so when we hold our offering in hand and we say, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. And before that last song, again, next week, and just a reminder, I think we're going to have that door open too, get circulation of air, so bring a sweater or more, because even now it's just slightly on the nippy side. If it was a few degrees cooler, I think I'd be shaking a little, so just be careful. All right, rain down. I don't know, Chloe, I think I've had enough of it the last few days, but if we could have another... If we could have a different form of rain, give it to us.
Spiritual rain down, not real rain. Open your eyes, open your mind, be ready to receive. God has you in mind. Open your ears, make a change in your life. It's your time to prosper. There's no need for strife. Do you know what it takes? Do you know what God needs? You've got to be willing to give if you want to receive. Love, peace, rain down, health, joy, rain down, wealth, abundance, rain down, rain down. Love, peace, rain down, health, joy, rain down, wealth, abundance, rain down, rain down, rain down. change in your life. God's wealth is yours. There's no need for strife. Do you know what it takes? Do you know what God needs? You've gotta be willing to give if you want to receive. Love, peace, rain down. Health, joy, rain down. Wealth, abundance, rain down, rain down. Love, peace, rain down. Health, joy, rain down. Wealth, abundance, rain down, rain down. Joy, rain down. Peace, rain down. Lord, let your love rain down. Happiness rain down. Freedom rain down. Let your riches rain down. Love, peace, rain down. Health, joy, rain down. Wealth, abundance, rain down, rain down. Love, peace, rain down. Health, joy, rain down. Oh, wealth, abundance, rain down, rain down. And love, peace, rain down. Health, joy, rain down. Wealth, abundance, rain down, rain down. Rain down. Rain down. Rain down.
You know, that song connected to Maryann's message. Instead of old habitual ways or being a victim and letting negativity rain down upon us and then go inside us, health, prosperity, love, let that rain down. It's our responsibility to shift that thinking. And now the peace song.
Now there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me. Now there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Peace has begun with me, and this is the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Now there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me.
The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is. See you next week.